big, hairy, audacious goal. Now, once again, make sure that you're willing to do the daily activities to get it, because we don't want to set a goal that you fall short of if it's going to bum you out. That's why I tell you to set big goals. The only thing that can stop you is what? Yourself. Your drunk monkey, right? That's that little monkey on your shoulder saying, you can't do this. You're not good enough. You guys have to have your values in place. You guys have to work with people that you like and that like you. That's why I tell you to set big goals. You guys have to have your values in place. You guys have to work with people that you like and that like you. If you're working with abusive people, if you don't have your values in place, you're going to be caught in this infinite time loop that you never get out of. Okay? Know your why. When we say envision your future, it's not this is who I want to become, it's this is who I am. I'll give you another great example. I was talking with my wife on the plane last night, and I do shocking shit all the time, just so you guys know. And I told my wife, I go, next year I'm gonna run an Ironman. I'm not a runner. And my wife's like, huh? And I'm like, well, that or climb Everest. Which do you think I should do? Right? So Debbie's like, so we have an orphanage in Nepal. We've done Everest Camp. We've done the Kumbaya Fall. I'm a hiker and a climber, but it's $50,000 and it's a month off, which would be very difficult for coaching. I'm like, the Ironman I could just do in a day and be done. Once I decide, I'm not gonna think I'm a guy who's going to climb Everest. What do you guys think I'm gonna be thinking? I climbed Everest. I summited Everest. Deb, are you a firewalker? Right, so because she walked on hot coals at UPW. And a board breaker, you guys know what that is? When you do Tony Robbins, he'll send you, if you do it virtual, he sends you a board and you have to, chop that board in half, and so she did that. So, I want you guys to envision, I'm a $500,000 a year, I made $500,000 next year. Or I made $1 million next year. By the way, your one big goal for me isn't just GCI. It could be I close 30 units next year. I close 50 units next year. This is who I become. I want you starting to think about who do you have to become in 2027. 2026 is done. The minute you're acting as if you've done it on your business plan, it's done. Nothing will stop you. The only thing that can stop you is what? Yourself. Your drunk monkey. Has anybody here ever heard that expression? Right? That's that little monkey on your shoulder saying, you can't do this. You're not good enough. My boss is Tom, his brother Matthew Ferry coined that expression. He invented that expression, but it was really good back in the day. All right, find your why. Identify what truly drives you at a gut level. I don't care if it's your kids. Look at, my wife and I don't have kids, but we love to travel. Chris will tell you that there was 2 years there where I coached from 45 different countries in an 18-month period. Like coaching from the top of a water tower in Africa because it was the only place I could get cell service. And you could hear lions in the background. Everybody's like, what is that? I'm like, a lion, isn't that cool? Right, we were in Istanbul when they killed that journalist and we had to leave the country in the middle of the night. Whatever drives you at a gut level, do it. And then achieve your goals. Dig deep, family, freedom, legacy, what's your motivation? Everybody here has some motivation. You need to know what it is. I had a great client when I first started, and he's still a good friend. He's not a great client anymore. He was a mortgage guy in Texas, and he says to me, my database is on a yellow notepad. And he'd been very successful. And I'm like, how many people? He's like, oh, there's 1,000 people on this yellow notepad. And I'm like, you're a moron, right? I'm like, we need to get you a CRM, and we need to get your database, and we need to get all this going. And he's like, okay. 3 weeks later, he calls me and says, I'm quitting coaching. And I'm like, why are you quitting coaching? He's like, because all you want me to do is this CRM, and I just can't get it. I just can't figure it out. I'm not a tech guy. I can't do the CRM thing. And he just had his first child. They were twin boys, Bo and Barrett. And I said, hey, let's pretend the kids are 12 or 13 years old, and they're sitting in front of you, listening to you tell your coach that you can't figure out the big bad CRM. How you feel? He's like, that's not fair. You can't, that's not real. I'm like, no, seriously, what, are you gonna be that to your twin boys who were just born and show them the type of man that you are and the type of father that you are, because this CRM is so scary, you're gonna quit? And he's like, I'll give it 1 week, right? I'm gonna go, will you give me 2 hours a day for 1 week? He's like, yeah. So guess what happened a week later? He was good in his CRM. 14 hours get you good at something. And it's like, okay, I'm sorry. I knew what his why was, and I used his why against him. That's powerful. If you know what your why is and you're failing, use your why against you. When I sold real estate, my why was, and I'm not shy, or when we owned direct lender, I'm not shy, it was money. Right? Well, I had a great relationship. I didn't have kids. I wanted a new plane and I wanted a boat in Cabo. Right? And so my why was money. So everything on my bathroom mirror, like if I lost a deal, I wrote $30,000 lost because you're a moron. And I put it on my bathroom mirror. Like I knew what my why was. I don't care what your why is, and I'm not going to judge you for your why. But whatever it is, learn it, know it, use it. If you have something that you're passionate about that's not in real estate, sorry, Chris, go do it. Go. But if you like the idea of being able to be your own boss, and you like the idea of being able to be in control of making $1 million a year, if you put the effort in, then put the effort in, right? That's it. All right, here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to define your 3 to 5 non-negotiable values. I want you guys to start defining your values. We're gonna do this on business planning later, but I want you to start it today. The reason I asked is because I want you guys to hear some values, right? I want all of you guys to be like, okay, what are my values that keep me going, right? And then what you need to do is you need to build your business around what you stand for. It's very, very common for me to fire coaching clients that don't align with my values. Be the same you online as offline. The reason I threw authenticity in, right, is because of this. There's actually something that I would teach all of you guys that I would ask you to do. When I say be the same you online as offline, never put anything in writing, online, or in an email that you're not willing to print on the front page of tomorrow's newspaper. If you look at something that you were gonna say to somebody, or if you look at something you were gonna write to somebody because you're angry or upset, or you're commenting on something, and you're not willing to put that on the front page of tomorrow's newspaper, you're going against your own values, right? I cannot tell you how many times I've had to enforce that. If you fake it, you'll never make it. People say you fake it till you make it. That's not accurate in my mind. Some people, right? We used to say dazzle them with brilliance or baffle them with bullshit, right? I would rather you guys just dazzle them with brilliance. If every client that you talk to left that meeting thinking, this is the smartest agent or originator that I've ever talked to, they know more about mortgage or know more about my market or more about everything that's active, what do you think happens to your business? Just goes up. There's no possible way you lose. If you guys are showing up online, especially YouTube, and you walk up to meet with a client and they come running out and they give you a big hug and they say, oh my God, I watch all your videos, I feel like we're family. Do you think that's an interview? Or do you think it's a contract, you guys? So be who you are and show up who you are. Okay, you guys are gonna do this on your business plan, but look at your 10-year vision, your 5-year, your 1 year. I would tell you guys to dream big. I would tell you, think about it. Like imagine what could you possibly achieve if there were no limits? If I guaranteed you that you couldn't fail, where could you be in 10 years? Right? When I hired Bill Pipes, when I launched Direct Lender, this is gonna shock you guys. 1998, 1999, I had to mortgage my house to hire this guy. I was not ready to hire somebody like him. He was the number 2 coach at Mike Ferry. He had been my coach for many years. When I hired him, I'm like, you have 1 year. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, I just took a $250,000 loan on my house to pay you. And at the end of this year, there will be no more money. So you have 1 year to do this. And he's like, okay, well, what do we have to do? I go, you have to bring on 100 offices in 1 year. And he's like, oh, you've lost your mind. There's no way we could do that. I'm like, then go get a job somewhere else. That's the condition on me hiring you. It's like, we have to bring on 100 offices in 1 year. So this is real estate and mortgage, you guys. So he's like, okay, let's give it a try. I think we ended that year at 98, right? And by the end of the year, I think there were 15 of us in the corporate office. And by the end of the year, there was, 200 people in the corporate office. And there was, we went from this little office on Main Street in Huntington Beach to this 20,000 square foot office. And stuff was going. And by the middle of year 3, we had 280 offices. Okay? If you think that my vision wasn't beyond that, you're wrong, because my vision was way beyond that. We fell short of my vision. But man, was I happy with what we got. Right? Like I was okay falling short. right? I want you to dream that type of dream, to put that kind of vision 10 years from now, right? And then the beautiful part about this is you guys are doing this. What we'll do on your business plan is we have to back it out. We'll be like, okay, for you to get here in 10 years, where do you have to be in 5? So 10 years, I want to be retired. I want to have $3 million in the bank. I want to have 30 properties that are generating this type of residual income for me, whatever it is. I want to, stop selling real estate full time. I want to have a couple people that are handling all of my business, whatever it is. Where do I have to be in 5 to get there in 10? Right? Because now we're going to be looking at this mountain, this ramp that we're going up. And then the reason we do this Dickens process is then we're like, okay, then if that's where I'm going to be at 5, what has to happen at the end of next year for me to be on track for that? So this will help you define what we call a BHAG. Does anybody here know what a BHAG is? Big, hairy, audacious goal. Now, once again, make sure that you're willing to do the daily activities to get it, because we don't want to set a goal that you fall short of if it's going to bum you out. If you made $250,000 this year and you set a goal for 500, but you're going to be stoked if you get to 400, then set a big, hairy, audacious goal. Maybe even make it 7, right? Here's what will happen with most of you. You will probably set a goal that's very doable, right? And then today we're going to back out what your daily activities are, and you're going to be like, well, that can't be true. Because I can tell you right now, I've already done the research in detail on your marketplace. For you guys to all hit $250,000, I think it's probably 4 conversations a day to hit $250,000 next year. To hit 500, I think it's 7 conversations a day. So you look at that and you're like, oh, that's easy. I can make 7 conversations, and that can't be right. That's why I tell you to set big goals, right? That's why I want you to be like, okay, what is something that you're willing to do daily? And then let's reverse engineer it back the other way. So, hey, coach, I'm willing to be held accountable at a very high level to having 10 solid conversations a day or 50 conversations a week. If I sit one good open house and I have 25 conversations there, I've only got to do X on the phone, or if I'm, however it is, calling my database, door knocking, whatever it is, then we're like, okay, well, let's work the other way now. By the way, does anybody here know how many transactions that is if you were doing 50 conversations a week? It's going to shock you. So if you did 10 conversations a day, the Tom Ferry average is about 40 conversations to a closing. There's 7,000 clients in the Tom Ferry ecosystem. There's a bell curve there. I would say 40, you should all be better than 40, because we have some clients that are horrible, that are 300-400 conversations to a close. And then we have some clients that are great, that are 20 conversations. But 40 is a really good number for you to use. If you're doing 50 conversations a week, that's 52 transactions a year. Well, if you take 2 months off, right, it's still 44 transactions that year. So if I make 10 conversations a day and I take 2 months off, I'm going to close 44 transactions next year. Now, if I do some content, I mean, it's not like you have the nicest studio I've ever seen, right? If I do some content, I may not even have to make as many conversations, because people will be calling me, right? So that's why we set those type of goals. All right, everybody should have a mission statement. It's 1 or 2 punches max, right? It captures your purpose and your value to your clients, and you use it daily as your North Star for decisions. If you can't fit it on a t-shirt, it's too long. I empower people to be the best version of themselves. That's my mission statement. I do it every single day, if that makes sense. For you guys, look at, once you come up with your mission statement, I help people, successfully make the biggest decision of their lives with their homes. Whatever your mission statement is, just read it to yourself every day. It will motivate you. It'll get you going. And we do this for a reason. There is science behind this. If we go into the neural pathways and the subconscious of what this does, it's pretty amazing. I'm guilty of going years of not doing this, you guys. And the reason I'm years not doing this is because I stopped believing. Right? Because I wasn't doing the activities to do what I wanted to do, and I wasn't hitting my goals, and then I blamed my mission statement. I'm one of those guys that does affirmations and gratitude every single day, because I know that my affirmations are programming my subconscious mind for when I have challenges, and my gratitude's programming my mind for today when I'm getting on calls. I went years of not doing affirmations and gratitude, right? Because like that client I told you about after the crash in 2008, we lost everything. You guys, my wife will tell you I was suicidal. I went to Nepal and I lived in a shack in the Himalayas. I started an orphanage in Nepal. I called my wife and said, you're coming to Nepal. My wife's like, you lost your mind, right? There's no bathrooms there. There's no internet there. I flew home, I grabbed her and I brought her to Nepal, right? Like, were sleeping in a tent in a rice field in the middle of the Himalayas and stuff like that. It was crazy stuff. But what had happened was I reconnected with who I was and who I wanted to be. I would tell you guys this. Prior to me losing everything at Direct Lender, I already mentioned to you, my goal was like, how do I buy a bigger plane? How do I make more money? How do I travel more? I want this boat. How do I do these things? Now everybody in my company was making a lot of money, so it was, how do I help these people too? When I left Nepal in 2008, you guys, we've been going back every year. We ran our own orphanage with 18 kids for the last 17 years. And our 2 youngest graduated high school this year, thank God, right? So now that we're done, but then I was like, okay, how do I help more people? How do I live a fulfilled life? I would tell you that I was probably one of the biggest pieces of shit around prior to losing everything. And then coming back from Nepal, I'm like, okay, how do I become the man my dog thinks I am? We all grow. We all become somebody different, right? So that you guys need to figure out like, what is your North Star today and chase it. Don't be embarrassed by it. For the last 10 years, my North Star has always been, I'm going to work really, really hard 3 days a week and take 4 days a week off with my family and my 2 dogs. Like I work 3 14-hour days, I get them out of the way, I'm camping in the mountains 4 days a week, or I'm camping on a beach in Cabo 4 days a week. I spend half my year in Cabo San Lucas. Every time I'm driving to Cabo San Lucas, Tom Ferry will call me and say, you're an idiot because you could be here doing all these things, making all this money, you have so much potential, and you're gonna go live in Cabo for 6 months if you lost your mind. I'm like, no, you've lost your mind, bro. You've got all the money you possibly want in the world, and your wife's sick, and you're still working 80 hours. Well, trust me, we're just looking at it 2 different ways. My North Star changed this year. Next year, we're gonna buckle down and do some new stuff. But it's taken me 15 years to get to that point where I don't think I'm going to die next year, so maybe I can do it now. It's the same thing like if I work 80 hours a week and my wife was to get sick or something like that, I couldn't live with myself. So now we've both gotten healthy and I'm like, okay, we're gonna make it another 10 or 20 years. So let's step up and change our north. You guys have to figure out what it is you want next year and make it happen. And it has to be aligned with your goals. It has to be aligned with where you wanna be. Okay, visualization. We talked about this a little bit already today, but we're gonna go into it a little bit more. Visualizing something is really, really powerful. And I'm gonna teach you guys some visualization. When we owned directlender.com, we sponsored an Indy car and our driver, Buddy Rice, won the Indy 500. So I was in this winner's circle and he handed me the milk in the Indy 500 and I'm drinking the milk. You guys have probably never heard of Buddy Rice, but his teammate was Danica Patrick and I'm sure all of you guys have heard of her. Right, so there we go. So when we're on a break, asked me to tell you a Danica Patrick story. I'll tell you some really good stories, but we're not gonna do it here because we used to mess with her like there was no tomorrow. But this is what Buddy would do. We'd be sitting there at the race and he would be sitting there and he'd be like this, and I'd just be watching him. He's like, and he's doing this and I'm like, the F are you doing? He's like, I'm visualizing the entire racetrack. I'm like, you have the entire racetrack memorized? He's like, every racetrack. And he's visualizing every corner and everything that he's doing right there for an hour before he gets in the car. Visualization is a really, really powerful tool for you that will help you get there. Now, visualization by itself will not get you to your result. You have to do work too. Once again, it's not like praying and hoping that's gonna happen. Prayer with action is much, much better than prayer with no action. Visualization with action is much, much better. The visualization will keep you on track when you're slowing down or when you're having doubts. So you guys need to learn this. It's really, 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 really important. Create a vivid mental movie of hitting your goals. Like visualize hitting your goals. Practice daily visualization and program your brain for the wins. This is you becoming and already have become what you want to become. Visualization has another little thing, and I'm gonna teach you guys a state change. Okay, so I'll give you guys, this is another Tony Robbins things, but I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna use it in your business first. You've had a rough day. Okay, and it's bringing you down. I want you to think about the best day you've ever had in your business. Think about the day you closed your first big check, or the day you even closed your first deal and you're looking at that check and you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. Think about that day when you helped a client that didn't think they could be helped and they got their first house and you're there with them getting their first house. And I want you to visualize the day, like remember it like it was yesterday, and where were you and what were they saying and how are they doing it? Like visualize it, and that will change your state and bring you out of your bad day. Okay? I do this, Tony Robbins teaches this really, really well, state changes, right? I'll give you guys a great example. If my wife and I are fighting, my wife, in case you guys haven't noticed, is a fighter. And I'm more one of the guys that's like, I'm done. I'm gonna go hide behind the door. And she's like, no, you're not. Well, I can visualize. I could literally draw you guys a diagram of a certain image from our wedding day where her mom's alive, my mom and dad are alive, my brother's alive, and they're all there. And the minute I visualize that, there's no more fight. Now she'll be like, don't you change your state, because we're fighting. And I'm like, too late. Too late, I'm already here. Now the problem is once we're fighting, I'm like, I don't want to change my state. I want to fight too. Let's go. Let's argue, right? But sometimes I'm like, okay, I've had enough. I'm going to change my state. You guys need to learn to visualize and learn how visualization can change your mood very, very quickly. Now, the reason I teach you this, the reason I put this in here, it's super important. All of you know that you have days where you're off. You can't have too many off days. You have to learn to turn them. If you allow yourself to have off days over and over again, those will keep going and they'll multiply, and the next thing you know, you have an off month or a quarter or a year. Right? It's the old baseball movie. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in real estate and mortgage, you guys. You have to find your path through, and whatever that path is, whether it's visualization or whether it's just through utter sheer strong will, I don't have to visualize anymore for coaching.